Hello folks, my name is Matt. You may know me as Lazy Urchin. I don't know why everyone looks like a stuffed animal, but I guess we do. But anyways, I want to talk about something today, and I wanted to draw something today, and I'll talk about those drawings. You ever heard of myths and legends? I have. I love them. I love mythology personally. I adore American Indian myths and legends. I have the book in person actually. Yeah. I wanted to create some fakemon based off some myths. So first we have this one. Now, there's not a lot of times, I said it in the other video where I was creating megas, when I made the Mega Blossom, I think, there's not a lot of times a design hits and it's like, that's it, that's the one. This was kinda it. They describe in the crow myth, Old Man Coyote Makes the World, Coyote as being somewhat serpentine, but also not. So I created Elder Cody, the ground dragon type, with the ability creator. I figured this thing would be a mythical with pretty decent stats, more on the physical bulk side and the special attack side, but yeah. The reason it has creator is because it's stated that when Old Man Coyote found a lake, yeah, let's see. He finds a few ducks, and one of the ducks dives down to the bottom of the water and finds a lump of mud. And Old Man Coyote blew on the little lump, which began to grow and spread all over. And it created the plants, it created the earth, and he planted all the grasses and trees and all manners of food, and life sprung up from it. And I wanted the shiny to represent the actual drawings of these, because they're so cool. They're all in black and white. But let's move on to the next one, shall we? This one is more on the traditional coyote depiction. The easiest depiction I've heard is imagine myth-accurate Loki, but horny. We'll get back to that. But at first I wanted to make him more dragon-esque, because a lot of the depictions look kind of like dragons, almost. But then I thought, no, I'll stick to a sort of canine feel to it. And so, I created, without further ado, Serpente. From Serpent, and from a character in Old Man Coyote Makes the World, that's a secondary coyote, whose name is, let me see if I can find it, Serape. I hope I pronounced that right. I wanted it to be legendary, and the ability is funny. Heartfelt, it will always get hit by Attract or Cute Charm, but it gets a +2 to a random stat once it ends. It can be attracted by all Pokemon regardless of gender. There's a myth, I think it's called how Coyote steals Sun's tobacco, but in it, Coyote steals the Sun's tobacco, and the people want some of that, so they give him a house and a wife, who's actually a boy in disguise. But, yeah. Enough of that, honestly. Myths are fun, but it's more fun to read them yourself, in all honesty. Like, I could have made more fakemon based on it, but that was kind of it. For ideas, at least, so have a good one, alright? Finally, he's gone. Hello, folks. Nice to meet you all. I'm here to fill in for the idiot because this pathetic fool right here, he did not realize that perhaps it would be better to split things with an actual divider, and so here I am. Initially, he did make more than the first two creations. He started working on a third, but I realized it did not really fit into the American Indians myths and legends section, and so I So I came in to help his creations be sectioned off. After creating a sort of alien-esque urchin thing, he decided that it would be better to have that initial sketch result be a side view, and what would happen if one of the arms was planted into the ground as a sort of defense mechanism of sorts. And so, here is King Spine, as some call it. He decided, and I helped him decide, that it would be better to not have it be a Pokemon or an Ultra Beast. There's no way to know its stats, typing, ability if it has one. It just appeared, and it's here now. But he also came up with this absolute wall of fucking text, and I'm not reading it. You can read it if you want. You can pause this thing. Anyways, on top of that, he then created a few more, and we're gonna go over this one, because it's fun. It's interesting the way he started out with just a blank body, adding one detail at a time, before deciding that actually, no, it'd be better to not hold anything in its other hand. And while it is interesting, it's also really, really annoying, because the second he did that, he made a design he liked. Immediately. Here it is. I would like to point out the passage from the big ol' paragraph. The sky goes red, the stars fade, and the ground boils. You can pause to read the rest, but we're going to go over that really quickly. Now, we're getting into a complicated part here, so I'm going to tell you all a story. How fun. Eons ago, on April 11th, he created these three creatures from drawing random shapes and then drawing whatever came to mind over top of them until they felt like fakemon designs. And while they are unique, shall we say, they don't have any sort of pre-sketch or rough drafts or anything, considering they were from a speed draw and from squiggly lines. Yes. So, we're just going to jump into them and hope that everything goes okay. First we have Screborag, Scourge of the South. And it is interesting. He forgot to put in types and abilities. He had decided that earlier that this would be a fire ground type with the ability Steelworker, considering it's based on liquid metal and liquid magma mixing. But then we have Berry Phantom, and you might have noticed if you were reading or if you paused to read, but the location of the appearance of the other one was off the mountain where Heatran appears in the Sinnoh games. And in this one, he created it as a hidden cavern in Reflection Cave, which is stated in the Deoncé movie, where Deoncé sleeps. And finally, Outlanerar, the monstrous eater, just outside the Sinjo ruins, which is a very paradoxical thing because it's stated that barely anything, if anything at all, can get in there without Arceus' permission. But this creature is unnatural. I love it though, it's very fun. And I'm gonna have a stroke trying to read these names. Regaliar Knight. Nailed it. This thing is the thing from before, but with armor and upgraded. And longer tusks. And if my eyes are not failing me, the Nordic runes on its tusk are guard and fight, I believe. But really? You're doing this now? Why are you doing this? Do you have something you need to say? Oh. I did forget that, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, you did a good job. Now please let me go back to work, okay? Alright. This was an initial sketch he had made. Well, an initial design that he never ended up using in favor of the 3 April 11th drawings. This was what first started that prophecy of when the ground boils, the sky turns red, and whatever else. This was meant to be a counterpart, the Kyogre to its, well, the Groudon to its Kyogre, of sorts, and also meant to represent him in a way, but that was stupid, and instead he went with the April 11th ones, and all is good. Now let me go back to sleep, goodness. I'm out of here. I'm not seeing y'all again until he leaves, or until I go back to bed. Good night.